Welcome to the Divinely Driven Results Live Show. My name is Elise Smith, Christian business strategist, and we get to empower Christian women entrepreneurs just like you to be able to reach their sales goals by partnering with God, empowering their mindset, and utilizing biblical business strategy. So I want to ask you, ladies, are you trying to create income maybe the old way? And whatever that sounds like, right? It's no longer working. And so we're going to talk about what is the new way of creating income, because sometimes we go round and round in circles due to our conditioning and the blocks that we have around money. We all know how that feels. And we're not used to using our intuition to bring in money. And there's so many more things that we can do with our intuition and how we can gain that income. So today we're going to focus on 3 keys to creating unlimited income the stress-free way. How does that sound? I know when I saw this, I was like, sign me up, girl. So we have an incredible guest here today. Her name is Helen Adams. She's a coach and also a speaker. So Helen, tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Hi Elise, thank you so much for inviting me on today, and I want to say thank you to everyone who's watching too. So my name is Helen Adams, and I am growing a global movement right now, and that movement is called the Female Business Revolution. And what I do in there is I work with lovely female entrepreneurs who are looking to reclaim their financial sovereignty. But as you said, not doing it the old way, doing it through the power of their intuition. Because as women, we are very, very intuitive beings. And unfortunately, because of all the conditioning that we've had, we tend to keep going to other people for advice instead of just sitting in and taking that time to tune into our inner GPS. And that has all the answers we need. And, you know, it's got answers that are even more powerful than our conscious mind can take hold of. And once we start getting to use them consciously and powerfully, we can make those big leaps forward in our businesses. We can cut big juicy goals down to half the time, for instance. We're not leaving thousands of dollars or pounds on the table every single month because we're open to those opportunities. Our minds are open. We're cleared of all those blocks and we're cleared of all that energy. And I think particularly now, it's a really important time for women to be able to step up and take control and take their financial sovereignty back, because it's a time when women need to be wealthy. Women need to step into their power so that they can show other women that it's okay to do that and create that ripple effect. And also, when more of the world's money is in the hands of more of the world's women, then we can make those really exciting changes.
Amen, sister. I love that. So, so let's learn a little bit more about you. Where are you from? Because I love your accent. It's beautiful.
So I'm over the pond. I'm in Manchester, UK. So I have, well, since I was a young girl, I always dreamt that I'd do something different. So I was in a very sort of traditional family. I was an only child. My dad was a headmaster and my mum was a teacher. And of course, they were all about these traditional ways: go to school, study hard, get a 9-to-5 job, and then you're sorted for life. But when I was a little girl, I always felt that wasn't truly what I was here to be. I felt like I had to be what they wanted me to be. But I also knew that one day I'd break away from that and I'd blaze my own trail. And it's been a real up and down journey. It's taken me almost 50 years to get there, but I've gotten there. And I'd say to anyone out there who might be in their later years, don't give up. Whatever you do, just keep going. It doesn't matter what age you are. When you're living your truth, your life will totally change and you'll have such an impact on everybody around you too, which is amazing.
Yeah, I can tell that about you for sure. It's such, I mean, you can almost just feel it and see it exude off of you. So I love the fact that you are following where God is calling you to go, and that's really powerful. So thanks for giving us a little glimpse of who you are. So tell me about these three keys. So what is our first key to creating unlimited income the stress-free way?
So the very, very first key is to get rid of that conditioning. Just think about a very easy way to do this, because a lot of people won't be able to have access to coaches, or they may not want to make that big jump. So to get them on the first steps, what I'd say is sort of be conscious of your actions and your thoughts during the day. And when you when you're thinking a thought that's not quite in alignment with, what God's calling you to do, or what you're thinking is your intuition, then catch yourself doing it and say, right, I'm going to choose a different thought, because we're not bound to our thoughts. We always have that choice. And the sooner we can get into the habit of doing that, the sooner we can start changing all those little things that are wrong. And if you want to go one step further, and that sort of thing doesn't works for you a little bit, but it doesn't quite work, then what you can do is you can sit down with your pen and paper and you can do some journaling. And I love journaling because it's really, really powerful. And you get about 6 or 7 questions. And the trick is to keep going and wait till you ask yourself why, how, what, until you get to that very root of the problem. Now, the root will probably be something like, oh, I'm not worthy, or I'll be abandoned if I do this, or it's not safe for me to hold on to lots of money. Just keep going until you find that root. And then once you've found it, let it go.
Wow.
That's how you do that. So that would be that first tip. Get rid of your conditioning. Ask yourself, is this my belief, or did this come from a mum or dad or somewhere else? And is it real? Is it true? And then look for evidence to find out that it's not true. And that'll help you to let it go.
I know, and it's so true. We don't even realize how conditioned we are through our childhood and through media. And I mean, constantly we are conditioned. And so it's amazing to be able to take back that power and step into the truth of who we are as daughters of God, which is incredibly powerful. And it's where God wants us to be able to do his work. So I love that. Now, before we go on to key 2, I want to ask you that we've talked about this concept of creating income in the old way versus the new way. So tell us about the new way. What makes it the new way?
Okay, so it's the new way because it's not what people have done for years and years and years. The old way was, go to school, then work hard and work hard, exchange time for money. That was some conditioning by the very sort of higher powers to keep us down and to stop us being in that, that true essence of ourselves. And what people need to realize is, we give them the material to money. We think of money in the bank, we think of paper money, we think of credit cards, whatever it is. But in actual fact, the money is energy, because otherwise that's just a piece of paper in our hand. The money is energy. And the new way to get the money is to be aligned with that high frequency of money. And then we know that we're doing that when everything feels like a flow, when it feels like a breeze, and then the money just comes into our bank. It can come from all kinds of ways. So it wouldn't be just your job. You might get bank errors in your favor. You might get an unexpected check through the post. You might have a relative giving you a gift. There's all sorts, but you have to be open to that other money too, and not just think that money is coming from work, because you could be missing out on thousands. There are people out there who are doing that every day, who are so open to money that they're bringing in these unexpected things every day, and that's a norm for them. And that could be a norm for you too.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, there's a scripture that says count it all joy, right? And I love the fact that we can say count it all, period, right? Because
Yes.
I remember talking to a friend one time and I was really frustrated that I was so close to hitting my financial goal over and over again. And she sat down and she said, well, are you counting it all? And, we looked at everything and it was bankers in my favor and it was insurance, that we had overpaid and, gift money and all that kind of stuff. And then when I actually added it all up, I was like, wow, I've definitely hit this goal over and over and over again. And I never
Yes.
even counted it. And so I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of power behind that, is that God, and I think the more that we recognize the blessings that God has bestowed upon us and is just
Mm-hmm.
constantly flowing to us, the more that
Mm-hmm.
we can see those things and the more that he blesses us with those things. So I love that this old way is like rigid, of like you have to work your 9 to 5 job and that's the way you get your income. But the new way is being open to what God is calling you to pursue and
Yes.
being able to see the blessings around you. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Well, good. Okay, so we'll start with the conditioning. And then what about that second key?
So the second key is to really be clear on what you want. Now, a lot of women, particularly because they've been told and conditioned in the main that, there's no great expectations for you. You're not to go on. You have a family. I mean, even some people are saying, find a husband who's rich and, work with him. But not everybody wants to do that. I mean, that could be some people's calling. That's absolutely fine. But there's also women out there who want to make it on their own. And at the end of the day, they should be able to. So if you want to be a multi-millionaire, voice it out. Don't be afraid. If you want to be a billionaire, voice it out and don't be afraid. We need more wealthy women in the world. There's no time like now when we need to step up. And if that's really lighting up your soul, that idea about being a billionaire or a multi-millionaire, then just embody it. Just put it into your body, put it in all the cells of your body, and don't deviate from it. If that's your highest calling, you don't want to play small, because otherwise then you're sabotaging it and you're sort of going in conflict with God. That's not what you want to do. You want to be in alignment, and those higher figures, they're there for you. They're there for us all. Every single person on the planet can be rich when we start changing our mindset. No one else is going to suffer. If you show that you're rich, if you want to step up and you have that clarity, then what you're doing is you're inspiring others. You're not putting them down. You're saying, look, I can have permission to do this too. So I would almost go one step further and say it's our duty as women to be rich because of all these things which I just mentioned. And, have your clarity. Don't put limits. Don't put excuses on it. Just love it and embody it.
Mm-hmm. And interesting that you say embody it, as in like take it into your cells and like even just speaking it out loud, your vocal cords help to embody that into existence and into your body. And as you've been talking, I've just been feeling this impression to share a quote from Marianne Williamson, which you've kind of talked about this a couple of times now, that us shining our light actually helps other people to realize they can do it too. Right. And so I want to read this here real quick. It's a little bit long, but I love it. It says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? And I would add, based on our conversation, rich, right? Like millionaire, billionaire status. Absolutely. Who am I to do that? Right. Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in every one. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same, just like what you're talking about, Helen. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I love that quote because it's so powerful in reminding us that it's okay to let our light shine. In fact, God wants us to let our light shine, as we've heard so many times in the scriptures, so that we can be that light and that example to other people of what's possible and inspiring them. So as we're talking about this difference between the old way of money and the new way of money and doing this as a stress-free kind of concept, this is what we're talking about, that you get to let your light shine and own it so that you can empower other people to do so. Wouldn't you agree?
Exactly. And that's such a beautiful quote, Lee. I've heard that quite a few times and I love it. It just sums up what we're all about.
Absolutely. Well, neat. Okay, well, we can't wait for key number 3. So tell us, what is key number 3?
So key number 3 then is actually doing that physical process of working with your intuition rather than going through the motions of what you were told before. So the very simple way of starting this off is to get yourself quiet time each day, only if it's 10 minutes a day to start with, because I know a lot of women have this sort of fear around spending too much time. And a lot of women still that I talk to saying, I haven't got a lot of time in the day. So I say to them, make 10 minutes. Everybody can make 10 minutes a day because this is important for you. When you start doing this, it'll have a knock-on effect and it'll help your family life too. So you have that 10 minutes, you just have that quiet time. If you can't sit, then you prefer going for a walk in nature, you can do that instead. But what you need to do is to just empty your mind. Just think of nothing. Just calm your mind totally down. And then you might get some intuition speaking to you there, and you might not. But then when you're doing something in the day, you could be driving and then you could get a nudge to go somewhere, or you might be driving past a billboard and you see a name of someone and you think, oh, I know someone with the same name. I need to contact that person. And you contact them and they could be wanting to sign up with a program with you. So listening to that intuition and then trusting it, because the 2 things that people are scared of is the fact that when you're working with your intuition, you'll probably only get the next step. You won't get all the steps to the end. Mm-hmm. And people are frightened of that. They think, oh, I'm only going to do 1 step. Is this going to work? I can't see all the path. Maybe this isn't right. No, trust the 1 step, because that's showing you then. Once you trust that, you'll be given another one and another one and another one, and that'll lead you all the way there. And the other reason they're scared, I think I mentioned it before, because it's like we've always been taught to go to someone for advice, or we've always been taught to just use our logic. And sometimes our intuition will give us things that you think, what's this? It doesn't make any sense. But that's a test for you to have that faith and follow it, even if you can't see where it's leading to, because once you're at your goal and you look back, you'll realize why you were nudged in a certain direction. Mm-hmm. And it's all about having that faith and going with it and saying, you know, this is my calling. I'm going to be all right no matter what. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to let go. I'm going to trust this process and I'm going to follow the steps as they come. Mm-hmm.
And that reminds me of be still and know that I am God. Like, how
Yes.
often do we take time to just be still, to be
Yeah.
still and to listen to the promptings and the inspiration and the intuition that God has for us? Because
Yeah.
as we are, you know, as Christian women entrepreneurs, all we need to do is just have that faith and that works kind of concept, right? You talked about faith, that's not seeing the whole staircase. It's only seeing one step at a time, but that's
Yeah.
what we're meant to have so that we can become the people that we want to become in this process of being in our entrepreneurial journey and our personal development journey. That's what it's all about, is becoming a better person and serving other people in the process. And then the works is taking that next step that God has asked you to take, even though it may not match the world. And I love that you pointed that out, because here at Divinely Driven Results, that's what we talk about, is building our business in the Lord's way as opposed to the world's way, which is going to be peculiar, like the scriptures say, and then it's going to be different, and that's okay. But when you have that time with the Lord and you are trusting your intuition more and more, then it's not going to feel so abstract or so weird to take that step that God is calling you to take, because you know it's coming from God. So these 3 keys have been super powerful. Thank you so much, Helen, for being on the show today. It's been amazing having you. Now, if someone wants to know more about what you're up to and how to contact you, how can they do so?
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Elise. It's been a real pleasure coming on today. So my main link would be my Linktree link. That's got most of my other ones on. So it's linktr.ee/Helen Louise Adams. But also, if anybody wants to come into my group, there's a link, which the easiest link is bit.ly/FemBizMindset. And in there, I'm growing this community, and I give powerful intuitive tips every day and training, and we're a really supportive community. I want that to be the go-to place for female entrepreneurs who want to smash those goals and step into their financial sovereignty. So either of those 2 links are good. Also, keep your eyes open for a very special book that will be coming out in the next few weeks. We haven't finalized the date yet, but that's the first step of everything I was talking about today.
Awesome. Oh, so exciting. And we'll be sure to include those links with this video and audio as well. So, Helen, thank you again for being on the show today. Ladies, you have the 3 keys to creating income in the new way, in such an incredibly stress-free way, because you're doing it with your intuition. And that's the thing. We're building our businesses in the Lord's way, not the world's way. And it should be less stress than the world's way. So if you want to have more great tips on how to grow your business in the Lord's way, you want to have another community just like Helen was talking about, to be able to connect with other Christian women entrepreneurs, then check out our free Facebook group called Faithful Ladypreneurs. And you can come and connect with us, and we can support you and help to give you amazing resources along the way as well. So we will see you guys next time on Divinely Driven Results. And thanks so much, Helen, for being on tonight.
You're welcome.